Okay, I suppose I should do one on Igor Witalski, really. Igor Witalski has been peddling this Nazi Bell story for a very long time. He's made a lot of money out of it. Supposedly the Nazis during the Second World War were working on some sort of anti-gravitational device. I think it's in Poland somewhere in this underground complex, and Igor will take people to the underground complex and he'll show them a bit of it, and he'll light a bit of tissue paper that gets sucked up into supposedly into a large cavern that no one has access to. Well, it may be true. But what he does say that is absolutely ridiculous is he shows us this henge, as he calls it, and says this could be some sort of test bed for this Nazi Bell anti-gravitational experiment. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that it's a support for a water tank. And I think the History Channel, the UFO Hunters, actually showed an identical structure supporting a water tank somewhere in Poland. Igor Witalski tells us that that's impossible. He actually sort of distorts it slightly. He pushes us away from water tank and says cooling tower. And he says it's impossible for it to have been a cooling tower for a power station because it's got camouflage paint on it. And the steam would make the camouflage paint come off. Well, that's in itself is ridiculous, but it's not a cooling tower, it's a water tank support structure. So there's no steam around, it's just cooling water for a power plant. So he's trying to sort of, he's trying to give you the impression that it's possible that it might not be a structure for a water tank by heading us in the direction of cooling tower. But don't be fooled, it's all rubbish. If the Nazis had any kind of exotic devices, they would have been unleashed. And you can count on that. I mean, they had the first ballistic missile in the V2. First ballistic missile launched from a submarine was a V2 launched from a U-boat. You know, they had the V1s, they had the Me-262 jet aircraft, and they were working on an atomic bomb. And I think that, you know, the way this thing's been described with the glowing and all this sort of stuff, and that it was a wonder weapon, Wunderwaffe. I think if it existed at all, and I'm not convinced that it did, it was probably it was probably to do with their atomic bomb research project, because you know, mucking around with nuclear materials, you could get some funny glowing stuff, and you could get some funny effects going on with that. So, and I think that the professor in charge of the project supposedly was in tears when he'd heard that the bomb had been dropped on Nagasaki. Because not because of the 150,000 people that got vaporized, but because the Americans had the bomb, or got the bomb first. But come to think of it, the Second World War, the Germans had thrown in the towel, I think, before the bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. I'll have to check that one. But it sort of makes sense that the professor in charge of the project would be seriously upset that the Americans beat them to the bomb. That's what it was all about. It's bound to be. If it existed at all, it would have been part of the German atomic bomb project. So no exotic propulsion, no time machine. I mean, if they'd succeeded in making a time machine, Hitler would have stepped into it and gone back to 1939 and decided not to start the war, wouldn't he? Having seen what happened, really. So yeah, so put a line through Igor Witalski. It's just more conspiracy theories rubbish. Unfortunately, there's just it's just chaff. Absolutely no wheat whatsoever. Unfortunately, I'll keep looking, but there is some wheat out there, but it's pretty thin on the ground. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.